Every time I put this thing on, I have to be careful because it weighs it down a little bit like that. So I've got people here, and if you see it, just go like that, and I'll know that it needs to be straightened out.
I try to remember. Yeah, right. Hopefully.
I've been carrying this around. Well, maybe I'm giving you exercise. Oh. I'm like, okay, it's not hearing that. I'm just so, hang on to it.
I forgot to ask. I don't use a podium or a pulpit. Would you like one?
I do have some notes, but I can just hold them in my hand.
Are you sure? We have a little music stand we can put up there. Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, Jim, where's that music stand for Molly? I know we get so used to I don't use notes.
That's not really.
You're right, I know.
It seems like there's always something going on that's challenging or something else that's now. Like it's on a belt or something.
Exactly. We just tend to get so attached to things.
This is required to make that.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
Oh wait, it's
Am I sliding the wrong thing?
yeah, that goes. It's the other way. Ooh, there we
That's a
go.
little ridge.
And then this thing comes up, right? Okay. That look okay?
Here was all.
And now I can't pull that back onto this desktop because I can't touch it.
You want me to give you guys a minute?
No, we're live, everything's good.
Okay, all right.
Zoom's being funny. Everything's all good.
I'll find a happy medium. I'll find a happy medium.
Metal bowls are like that, though. You whack them and then it's. 188. Here we go. I'll give you an intro.
Come, come, whoever you are, what Good morning. We welcome all who have joined us face-to-face in person, and we welcome all who've joined us online. We're glad that you're all here and a part of our fellowship today. My name is Brian, for those of you that might not know me, and my pronouns are he, him. Couple of announcements, and then I know we do have some other announcements in the congregation. So one is that I continue to remind you that we try to keep the service to an hour and 15 minutes, but if you need to leave, we don't believe in holding hostages, so please go if you need to do so. Also, we ask once again that at the end of the service, if you could be seated for the postlude, and then after the postlude, I will invite you to my favorite time, which is treats. We know that. All right. Today, we're very, very glad to welcome Molly Marshall and Cindy Beth Johnson from United Theological Seminary. And we're going to hear from Molly in just a little bit. So we're really glad that you're here to join us this morning. Another reminder is that next Sunday is Vitality Sunday. So we invite you all to come and be a part of that. We're just going to be talking about our fiscal responsibilities and all of those things, those fun pieces of church. But it's very important because it's vital, because it's Vitality Sunday, right? Third Friday service in April I think it's going to be a little bit of a creative thing that I hope to invite people into. One of my favorite services when I was a United Church of Christ minister was a Good Friday Tenebrae service. So I am in the process with a few people working on creating a UU style Tenebrae service. Tenebrae is just Latin for shadows, so it's a time to come and recognize that things are not always happy and things are not always up and up. Even though I preach about joy all the time, there are times when we need to sort of take that and put it on the shelf in a minute and mourn and understand that there are things that are going on that we don't like, and there are things that happen that we also don't like. So more information for that to follow, but that is actually on Good Friday here. We're looking for volunteers to work on the security plan committee. Please see Kelly McCowan, who's not here with us in person today. She's on the road with Chuck. And there will also be an Our Whole Lives facilitator training next month in April. See Kelly for that if you so desire. Okay, now I'm going to open it up for announcements.
Okay. Oh, Kathy, you go first. Just wanted to give the results of the United Way packing kind of event. We got over $500 in donations, and we packed with the help of Karen and Deb Bielek and Jim. We shopped and packed and donated 44 pantry/spice packs that are culturally specific. So we did some Afghan pantry packs, Afghan spice packs, and then we did some universal pantry packs. And those all got dropped off and donated, and then we still had, I think, $65 that we donated to the Open Door food shelf. And all of those meals will stay local at the local food shelves.
Thank you.
I have an announcement. I'll have Chuck send it out in the MailChimp too, but my music gala has been postponed, and it'll be held at another location in the near future, and we'll announce that as well.
Okay, I am wearing this t-shirt as a shameless plug for everyone to please join us April 19th. It's a Saturday for our congregation's climate revival. It's going to be happening at the Grindelands home Saturday morning, exact time to be announced.
Turn your shirt to the camera.
Photo op.
The second thing is the name change process is happening rapidly. So there are some documents in the back that help you understand that process. Those of you online, there'll be a slide that goes up.
It's up now.
No, it's up now. So that'll be up as well at the end of the service. So we want you to participate. Be here via Zoom or in person on April 13th and April 27th will be the two big days. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kathy. Oh,
Carrie, did you want to talk about movie night? This coming Friday?
Oh,
oh, that, yes.
it's coming up fast. Thank you. Yeah, the monthly movie night is the first Friday night of every month. It's 6:30 at Kathy's house. And this month is important to tie into the name change process we're going through, or the name consideration process we're going through. There's an excellent PBS documentary about Dakota in Minnesota. And it goes through some of the history and then some of the current efforts for healing and reconciliation. And I think it'll be a very important background for us all to have as we consider whether or not to change our name. And if we change it, what we change it to. So the movie this coming Friday, April 4th, ties into this process, and I hope to see lots of people there. And it's a really good PBS documentary.
And there are always good treats.
If you bring them.
If you bring them. If you bring them, they will come, right?
Yes.
I will come. Any other announcements from the congregation? I have two brief ones to conclude the time of announcements. One is to remind everyone that we don't take an offering, but rather we have a basket in the back if you choose to give, and we also take donations online for those of you that are visiting with us virtually. And the last announcement is more about our farm. So we're going to kick off our farm tour season and our farm plant sale and all that kind of stuff on May the 3rd. That's Saturday, the May the 3rd. We're calling it the Spring Fling May Day celebration. So just save the date. It'll be in the afternoon on May the 3rd for those of you that would like to make that trip and come be a part. So lots of things have changed since some of you have been there the last time. So we'd love to see you, and we'll have treats. So that's an important part. And with that, I would invite you to take a deep breath, slow and gentle, and exhale just intentionally, just like that, and separate ourselves from the chaos of the world as much as possible. Come into fellowship with one another as we meditate on this prelude to our service. I invite you to remain seated so that everyone can see the screen and join me in our opening words and lighting of the chalice. We come together today as a community that supports education, knowing that knowledge is power and that education changes lives.
We come together in gladness, knowing that here we are welcome as we are, and that acquiring knowledge encourages all to grow.
We come together from different places as unique individuals. Our theological paths are diverse, yet we share our journey together with hope for a brighter future transformed by theological education.
We all rejoice in the power of learning, and we give thanks to those who pursue higher learning in theological education, as well as those institutions who offer such.
We relish the opportunity to work and play and learn with each other, and our questions invite wonder, and our trust encourages hope. We strive to give each other honor and respect as we grow together in our theological understandings.
We support each other as each of us transforms over time because of lifelong engaging experiences and encounters with diverse theological frameworks.
Let us keep moving forward together, opening minds and hearts with love for what comes next.
May we strive to understand ourselves and one another, and to extend the spirit of goodwill as far as our love can reach.
Therefore, in the spirit of knowledge and the quest for lifelong learning, we light this chalice together and we say, may the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal with love, to help with compassion, to bless with joy, to serve you, Spirit of freedom, in the fullness of community. And now I invite you to rise as you are able and join us in hymn number 295. 295.
I will play through this, I think it's fairly easy.
Praises for the journey, pilgrims we carry on, searchers in the
soul's deep yearnings, like our forebears in their time. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness in the endless human quest. Look inside your souls, the kindling of the heart that pilgrims do. Find the Spirit always restless, find it in each mind and heart. Touch and hold that ancient yearning, kindling for our newfound truth. Stand we now upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Hearth behind us, place our gospel, willed by those who knew wild roads. Holy and the sacred embers, carried in our minds and hearts.
Please be seated.
This is our beloved community moment. At Dakota Unitarian Universalist Church, we recognize that our universe, from the smallest particles to the galaxies beyond our galaxy, fills us with profound wonder. We know that humans have struggled to answer that question of why life exists and for what purpose for millennia. In a day and age when so much is revealed to us by science, we openly acknowledge that God may or may not be part of everyone's worldview. Dakota UU openly supports and welcomes people with atheist and agnostic beliefs. We are pro-science, pro-reason, and pro-evolution. We know there is no one right answer when it comes to belief, and we don't let that stop us from taking action for a better world. We build a community that welcomes us in our wholeness, cherishes our doubts, and invites our ongoing search for truth. Dakota UU honors the differing paths we each travel. Our congregation is a place where we celebrate, support, and challenge one another as we continue on these journeys. We welcome, embrace, and love believers and non-believers and everyone in between and outside those artificial lines of human category. May it be so.
It's that time during our service when we invite you, if you feel moved to do so, to come forward, light a candle, share a joy and or concern. And if anyone online has a joy or concern, please speak up and Dawn will light a candle on your behalf. And at the end, I will light a final candle for all of those unspoken joys and concerns.
This is for my nephew Scotty, who died recently at the age of 67. He struggled most his life with alcoholism addiction. So.
You gonna say it?
Yes. This is for my auntie.
Your auntie?
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
That auntie, sorry, you have two, I was confused.
This is my auntie.
We're celebrating her
This is for my
birthday.
We're going to the zoo. And I get to see my baby cousin.
You get to see baby Leanne. And then this is for, I got to chaperone her school trip yesterday to the Science Museum, and that was really fun.
Not yesterday.
No, yesterday, Friday. You're right, Friday. I didn't go to school yesterday.
Come on, Mom.
This is lighting one to show concern for the earthquake victims in Myanmar.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Okay, well, this is for Holly, who I don't know if she's with us. I mean, she's with us, but she's not there.
She is online listening today.
Yeah, I had a really nice time with her yesterday, and if you have a chance to visit with her about some of her stories about the people she met in Africa, she really is a light in the world. And along with that, for all of you, because my life is different and better because of that. So, because.
Thank you, Linda.
You are there. Oh.
Hi, Holly.
Did everybody else hear that?
What are you talking about?
I'll make this one quick. We have recently added guinea fowl, and a bunch of rabbits to our enterprise. It's like our big barn is quickly becoming a Noah's Ark of the sorts.
Linda, we're blessed to have you. This beautiful stole that you painted. I will now light a final candle for all those joys and concerns that remain unspoken. May we know that whatever befalls us in life, we are held in the loving embrace of this community. And now we say together, for all of these joys and concerns, both spoken and unspoken, we hold you in our hearts. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you Molly Marshall, who will come and share a reading and give us words of enlightenment. No pressure.
Well, that presumes I've been enlightened, Brian. Lots of luck. Well, good morning to all of you. I am delighted to be with you. The warmth of your welcome is contagious. My stuffy UCC church needs to take a page out of yours. So thank you all for the warmth and the beauty of the space. I appreciate, Brian, you saying that this is not a hostage situation. Last year, we had a senior chapel planned by the students. They had 6 preachers. It went on and on. And I leaned over to Cindy Beth and said, it's a hostage situation on the worst chairs in the world. We call them the 20-minute chairs. I mean, they're just really, really rough in the chapel. Well, here is the reading. It comes from a 16th century Puritan named John Robinson, whom both Baptists and Congregationalists claim as a forebearer. He said, there is ever yet more light to break forth. There's ever yet more light to break forth. Well, I love that because it does not presume that any of us contains all of the truth yet. And we continue to engage texts, traditions, and our very lives to think about truth, spirituality, meaning, purpose, community, all those things that constitute our humanity. I'm going to talk about United for a few minutes, but I want to acknowledge that one of our current students, Emily McCowan, grew up in this church, and she is doing great ministry over in Illinois, doing campus ministry. She was here not too long ago, and we just reveled in hearing her music and learning more about her life. So greet her parents for me, or if they are online, you should be duly proud of your daughter. Interestingly, United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities, that's the full name, has the largest number of UU students, I think, amidst nearly all the seminaries, even the UU seminaries. I hate to say that. Our largest number of denominational affiliated would be UCC, followed by the UUs. We have faculty who are Unitarian Universalists, and we are so proud to be affiliated with that good tradition. Our approach at United is kind of what Robinson said. there's ever yet more light to break forth. We believe that there are many pathways to truth, and we try to respect and cultivate respect for the lived religion of others. One of you asked me what my pen was. It's the logo of United, which speaks of many paths, spiritual paths within a larger community. That's what we are about. We have deeply connected UCC, Presbyterian, to those who would proudly claim the moniker of pagan. Many come from backgrounds of religious abuse. They've come to seminary seeking to find a better pathway, especially LGBTQ students who may have been traumatized in a more conservative tradition along the way. United isn't that old as seminaries go. We were founded in 1962. Our neighbor, Luther Seminary, less than 5 miles away, is 157 years old, and we are just 62 years old, nearly 63 years old as a seminary. It was founded by the newly minted UCC. United Church of Christ was only founded in 1957. So we're the first seminary that carries explicitly the name of being a UCC seminary. But it was founded as an intentionally ecumenical seminary. And so from the days the classes began there in New Brighton, now we're in St. Paul, it was an ecumenical kind of pursuit. As you know, we live in a time of burgeoning religious pluralism, and you acknowledge that with gratitude and with welcome. Lots of folk don't have much room or thought about church. It's called an age of deep churching, which I think is kind of an icky term, but that is where we live. And so we are a seminary that speaks to the realities of what's going on, a burgeoning secularity, and persons with a well-refined hermeneutics of suspicion about traditional religion. But we know, and your presence here this morning demonstrates, we continue to have deep spiritual longings. We long for community, we long for ritual, we long for purpose that is larger than ourselves. And we believe that we're a seminary that cultivates that kind of awareness. Like your congregation, we are on site and we are online. 70% of our students do not live in the Twin Cities. It's one of the ways that we've grown. And it makes economic sense. People don't have to move here. They don't have to leave their work. They don't have to leave perhaps their extended family or the places of service where they already are to pursue graduate theological education. We offer Master of Arts, Master of Divinity, Doctor of Ministry, and a Master of Arts in Ministry, which would be the shortest of the degrees, the most practically based of the degrees. Persons who come and pursue this education do all sorts of things. About a fourth of them become congregational leaders. About a fourth of them work in nonprofits. Another fourth, slightly more than a fourth, will be chaplains. They'll be in hospitals, hospices, prisons, national parks. We have an environmental program that students are eager to use their learning in a variety of ways for the common good. Our faculty has learned to adapt pedagogically to this widespread student body. Asynchronous, synchronous, hybrid, some in the class, some on the screen, and they've learned to do this very well. We think it's a justice issue to make theological education accessible. Now, the students know how to form community, even screen to screen. And you could see it when they meet one another for the first time at commencement or at a symposium week or a convocation. It's like long lost friends. It's great fun. Oh, I didn't know you were tall. Oh, you've been seeing the postage stamp image in the large classroom, and it's great. I am most proud of our faculty. They are young, productive, intellectually rich, contribute to their disciplines as well as to the lives of their students. They are varied in their spiritual commitments. UCC, UU, Orthodox, Historic Black Baptist, Disciples of Christ. They are a spectrum. And they are publishing. One of our younger faculty members has just got his first book on the way. He's a black man who played college football at KU. He was a Jayhawk down in Lawrence, Kansas, which is my permanent home. He has written a book entitled Playing the Game, and it's about the impact of sports on black masculinity, spirituality. Fascinating book. Another of our faculty is writing on Schleiermacher. Now that'll make you snooze. But basically how Schleiermacher, there are seeds of anti-racist work, and how Schleiermacher talks about the atmospherics of religious affections. Young scholar out of the University of Chicago. And then maybe my favorite, our dean is going on sabbatical, and he's going to be writing a contemporary treatment of sin. And I've been calling it his spiritual memoir. So we'll see how that flies. Let me talk a moment about our board. We are a freestanding seminary. We are not funded by any particular denomination. We basically are a freestanding, self-governed, incorporated with a board of about 24 people. Our board is diverse, a growing LGBTQ presence, persons of color, folk who do law, HR, CPAs, business, bankers, a sheep farmer, musicians, chaplains, pastors, ecclesial judicatory leaders. Have I left anybody out? A bunch of lawyers on it. They're the ones who read the bylaws, with great care. The board is active and respects the lanes of shared governance. That means faculty do this, and administrators do this, and board does this, nose in, hands off, kind of a good model for shared governance. Our mission is pretty straightforward. We educate to prepare innovative and compassionate leaders for churches, other faith communities, and society toward justice and peace. That's it. It's not creedal, it's purposeful. This is what we're doing, preparing these kind of leaders who will be good on the social landscape. One of our faculty, or maybe it was I who started saying it, but it's kind of caught on. The world needs a seminary like United now more than ever, because of this stance toward peace and justice and wide inclusion. Our curriculum, I know that was the burning question at the front of your head. Our curriculum is built around 4 pillars: social transformation, public theology, interreligious engagement, and theology and the arts. Those 4. And our students then focus in those. Public theology invites students onto the social landscape as interpreters of faith. Social transformation, we deal with environmental, racial, gender kinds of ethical and economic issues. Interreligious engagement offers us a way to understand religious difference, meet people where they are. We have a Muslim scholar of whom we are very proud, Dr. Mujed Murad, who teaches world religions and intercultural studies. Each of these help kindle imagination, particularly theology and the arts. We believe that a longing for beauty is akin to a longing for God. And you all worship in beautiful space. Intentionally, you have created beautiful space with good music and warmth and welcome. Who are our alums? Pastors, scholars, artists, activists, chicken farmers? They serve in public education, civic organizations, churches, business, community development, varied nonprofits. One of our students is mayor of Brooklyn Center right now. Young African-American man. We are proud to claim him. Our alums make the world better. 3 primary sources of funding for us: tuition, which we keep at a moderate level so that our students don't encumber a lot of educational debt. We know that they are not going to be in professions to be able to discharge a lot of educational debt. So, tuition, endowment. Dr. Cindy Beth Johnson and I work all the while on trying to build our endowment, particularly focused on faculty chairs and scholarships, so that we can attract, retain good faculty, and so that we can lessen the debt encumbrance for students. And then, of course, annual giving, the United Fund, which we just send letters and make calls and do all the things that advancement needs to do to retain good donors. One of the things that Brian asked me to think about with you, and this is my last point, how might you participate with United? Well, we have all kinds of continuing education that you would be welcome to pursue. We have a leadership center for social justice who sponsors a variety of seminars. We have art exhibits, and we regularly have public lectures. We'll have a lecture this coming spring on environmental issues, the CARD lectures. Usually in the fall, we have, or earlier in the spring, we have biblical studies, kind of a rotation of public lectures that people are always welcome to attend. Another way you can be connected with us is suggest seminary to a friend. If you observe someone who has this wonderful curiosity about spiritual things, just offer this question: have you ever considered going to seminary? That's where they ask and seek to understand the biggest questions. That's what seminary attempts to do. Put United in your budget. I know most smaller fellowships have a stretched budget, but we are grateful anytime a congregation puts a little line item that says for United scholarships or something. Brag on your pastor as an alum. He is our letter of recommendation. He's the kind of person that comes out of having attended. Yes, let's do a little snack here. He's the kind of person who comes out of having attended United. Have another Sunday like today, an annual United Day. And you might get one of the fine faculty next time instead of me. So I would encourage you to think about those ways that you are able to connect. We want to be connected with you, and we celebrate the vitality of what we observe going on in your fellowship. So, Brian, I'm done. I hope it was enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have our musical interlude, and then we'll have time for some discussion and reflection. Before I open the floor for a reflection and discussion, I just wanted to plug United Seminary myself, because you all deal with me pretty much all the time, and I just want to let you know that the reason why I am in a position like this and why I have chosen to do regenerative organic farming, all a part of the evolution of my spirituality and my commitment to the earth and to the community. And without United, I would not be here. United Seminary is why I do what I do. So feel free to pose questions, comments.
It's fascinating to learn more about the seminary, and it's mind-boggling to think 70% of the students are online. That's just shows where we've come technologically. Thank you.
I have a quick question.
My question is about, do people get training in like counseling? I didn't hear you mention that in any of the curriculum part.
We have a very fine pastoral care area. We don't do clinical counseling. That requires a whole different set of credentials and accreditation. But there certainly is pastoral care and counseling built into persons who want to do chaplaincy or pastoral work, but not clinical counseling.
How many students do you have at a time?
We have 220 23 this year. Last year, we had we have few more. We had 241 last year. We will graduate right at 50 at the end of April. We're on a trimester system, so commencement comes really early. I was looking for a graduation card yesterday at a shop, and they said, "Oh, no, we've got to get past Mother's Day before we get those cards out." Well, you're not on the trimester system here. It works well for working adults. They can start in the summer, they can start in the fall. Our evening courses are most heavily subscribed. Simply a person can do their work and pursue graduate theological education in the evenings. 3 12-week terms a year with a month in between them. So people can breathe, recalibrate, rework childcare, whatever they need to do in that time. And if you take 2 courses a term, you're considered full-time. 95% of our students receive some sort of financial aid. And as you might imagine, everybody's twitchy right now with the Department of Ed doing whatever it's going to do. And so part of our work is to reassure students about federal loan programs and to monitor very carefully what changes might come.
How long does it take for the average person to go through a degree program?
Usually, our students, because they're going at this pace, basically 18 hours a year course load, usually 4 years for an MDiv, Master of Divinity. Some do an MA in 2 years, including writing a thesis. It's quite possible to do that 48-hour degree. Some take 3 or 4 courses. Some of the eager. The Master of Arts in Ministry, 36 hours, is shorter, 2 years max on that. So the Doctor of Ministry is usually a 4-year program. These are for ministry practitioners, people who are already chaplains or spiritual directors or pastors. And so they do most of their classwork asynchronously, meaning kind of at their own learning pace. And then when it comes time for the thesis, much more direct supervision.
Are you a seminary alum yourself?
You wouldn't believe how many times. Yes, sir. I was asked earlier, I think Kathleen asked me if I were a UU minister. I said, well, no, I'm a UCC minister. I have a Baptist background. I have a Master of Divinity. I have a PhD in theology. And so that's been my pathway. So I believe in seminaries. I've been 42 plus years in theological education. Since shortly after the earth cooled, I have been in theological education.
I always use the cliche, when God was a child.
Oh, I love that. I love that, yes. I was at a conference in Toronto a couple of weeks ago, and somebody referred to me as, Molly, she's been a president since Deborah was a judge. You know, Deborah, the Old Testament. Book of Judges, Deborah was one of the famous ones. So, yeah, about right.
What kind of placement services do you have? How do the students decide where to go afterwards?
That's tricky, quite frankly. We don't have a placement office, but we have a person who oversees contextual education. He is making contacts with where students have internships or they do clinical pastoral education or whatever else. And so, and students who come from a particular judicatory, UU students, they know the process. We teach polity courses for UU students, theology courses for UU students, and they know how to make the connections then in terms of internships. If a person comes and prepares to be a UU minister, that person is pretty well going to be snatched up because there are not enough. Same with UCC. We work closely with the Minnesota Conference, United Methodists, Presbyterians, all the different judicatories is how people connect. Or if they're headed toward chaplaincy, placement often happens through a connection they make while serving as a resident in a hospital.
I was a janitor for a small Methodist church in Wisconsin for quite a while, went through a lot of ministers. And one thing that they seemed to have said is they got very little direction in business management, how to run an office, how to do a budget, how to manage a board, how to run meetings, you know, and they said that, several of them said when they finished, they wish they would have had more kind of business management, how to run committees, run a business.
Yeah.
What do you do for that?
I hear it regularly.
Yeah.
What folk don't realize is that the day they step in as a pastor, they've become the head of a nonprofit and have to run the thing. Audits. What are the founding documents? What are the bylaws? What is the governance of a congregation, which is critical, you know. In fact, we have a new board member who is going to offer. He is has a financial services business. He's going to be offering for our students this opportunity pro bono to go through his course, because we recognize that's a lack.
Yeah.
I think there's a
question.
question.
You offer a course once in a while to be able to manage religious education programs. I know that person.
Yes, we do.
So I think there's a question from Holly.
Yeah, there is. I don't know how you knew that, but and it might be a tricky question, but how do you, considering the very strong social justice bent, how do you navigate politics and, you know, step carefully because there are so many restrictions on being political, without ignoring all of the really crucial questions and happenings in the world that are intricately social justice, but also political?
Yeah, that's a very important question. From the outset, United has been known for being ecumenical, passionate about social transformation, and progressive. We are unabashedly in the liberal, progressive Christian movement. That's who we are. Students pretty well self-select. If they are a very, very conservative person, they most likely aren't going to come. We don't have very, very conservative donors. We have donors interested in the arts, progressive causes. Now, I'm not overtly political all the while. I don't do a Trump bashing in my chapel sermons or whatever else. But we keep on talking about the kind of hospitality, theological hospitality, as well as this regard for others. Sometimes it's hard within the classroom itself when there are, say, pagans with a more earth-centered spirituality and not a sense of transcendence in terms of being theists, with persons who are confessionally more steeped in traditional Christianity. Sometimes those are harder conversations. Our board has made a decision, though, in light of the various kind of executive directives coming, that we will continue to do what we do, because we would be betraying our mission if we didn't stay focused on social justice and inclusion and the kind of interreligious engagement that we do. We are being careful in terms of not wanting to, skylight and unintentionally draw negative attention, but at the same time, we are not going to cease being faithful to what we sense our mission to be and our theological commitment to that tradition, ethically and spiritually.
Thank you so much again, Molly, for that. And I would invite everyone who would like to stay around for treats, and we can continue conversations and ask some more individualized questions and so forth. So with that, I would like to invite you all to rise as you are able and join us in our closing hymn, one of my favorites.
No, I know.
Number 21.
I'll just give a brief intro and we'll sing the choruses. Number 21.
Beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us
lies. Now
to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for the gentle thoughts and mind. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
I'm not sure if Molly has ascending insight would be a benediction. She may have something to say.
There is ever yet more light to break forth. Amen.
Amen. And now I invite you to be seated for our postlude. Before I invite everyone to fellowship, I have one last thing to say, and that is two last things. I always have more to say, but I want you to notice that every single speaker and leader for the service during the month of March, besides me, was a woman. Women's History Month. And also, speaking of leader who's a woman, Dawn, we appreciate you taking the leadership spot this month, and that's a shameless plug for, I need somebody for April to lead the service, so if you would love, I did it at the end so you wouldn't forget to ask me, So if anybody would like to lead services, as Dawn has done and many others, please see me after service today, and join us for fellowship and treats. Thank you very much.
And I would remind everybody, keep your eyes on your emails for the name committee stuff that's coming your way in the next couple of weeks. You'll be getting special Survey Monkey stuff coming your way. Okay, thanks.
That sounds good.
I have just gotten I do too. I got it on all my temperate claviers. And I'm like, how did I learn all that? I'm marking up and I'm like, I really ought to work at that.
It's not easy. I did a whole spiritual reflection semester when I was in seminary, where I just got the book of Bach chorales, and I decided I was playing ones every day, even if it sounded awful. I was going to try just as a spiritual position.
And to me, it makes sense, but my goal is to get really proficient at and play it in a jazz style. So that's my goal.
So that's actually.
Yes, yeah, we'll send it to you. Are you okay with that?
Here you go, sir.
Sounds good. At first,
John, thank you for doing Mars.